Oh yeah, finished strong Friday. Just got back home from the gym. Y'all know the motto, 16-hour shift from the prison yard straight to the weight yard. Got a beautiful leg workout in today. I'm feeling extra motivated, feeling extra inspired. Quick correctional officer video. I had a few people, ask me to do a video on, what goes on your duty belt, what kind of equipment do you need to be a correctional officer and to perform your duty. So I got all my stuff. I even brought my work bag. I'm going to go through that, show y'all some stuff I keep in my work bag. What's all on my duty belt. But before I get into the video, I want to reiterate this, right? Every agency is different. The things that I may be required to have on my duty belt or I'm authorized to carry, working for the agency I work for, it may be different for you. You may be going to a county agency, a state agency, federal, private prison, and the things that they, like I said, require you to carry in the performance of your duties, it may be different for me. So I'm not going to tell anybody to buy anything specific. I'm just going to go over, just give you a general idea of some things that you may need, some things that you may want to get, invest in on your duty belt. My duty belt's kind of old. My duty belt probably I've been in 12 years. So a lot of this stuff on I've had, for 12 years. Some things I have added onto my duty belt because the policies have changed and we're required, to carry different things. So let's go through it, man. We're going to get right into it. This right here, this is for my gloves. Man, always keep plenty gloves on you working in a correctional setting. It's a lot of inmates that have communicable diseases. It's a lot of drugs in the prison system these days. So when you searching these cells, you patting down the inmates, man, always have gloves on you, man. It's good to get you a glove pouch. This right here is for the OC spray. Certain agencies, like I said, man, depending on where you work, you may or may not be required to carry OC. They made us, they made it a requirement where I'm at that we have to carry OC spray. So, when you go through, unless you working on a unit, if you're not working on a unit, you got to chet out some OC. This is the belt keepers, right? So, you put your belt on and you take these apart. You snap them onto different parts of your belt. It helps to keep your belt secure to your waist. So imagine you running, you responding to an emergency, a body alarm, a fight, staff needs assistance. These are going to help to keep your belt in place, your duty belt, so it's not, moving, coming down halfway down to your knees or ankles while you're trying to run as fast as you can to get to where you got to go. Let me see what we got next. Okay, walkie-talkie pouch right here. This is pretty self-explanatory. Working in corrections, us having walkie-talkies, that's like the equivalent of a police officer on the street having his gun. That's how we communicate. This right here, having your walkie-talkie, it could be life or death. So make sure you invest in a good quality walkie-talkie. Mine's, is pretty secure. While I'm running, you don't want it to fall out on the floor. You get into a fight with an inmate. You don't want it to slip out. You trying to hit your body alarm, call for help. The inmate got the upper hand on you. So make sure you invest, like I said, in a good quality walkie-talkie pouch. This is for my cuffs, handcuff pouch as well. Invest in that. On my duty belt, we're required to have any keys that we carry on us. They have to be attached to a chain. So I got a whole bunch of chains on my duty belt as well. What else we got on my duty belt? Oh, okay, like I said, some policies have changed over the years. So we're required to carry a cut down tool where I work at. So if an inmate's trying to commit suicide, he has committed suicide or in an act, and you happen to come across it or you responding to it, we have to carry cut down tools now. And it's basically it looks like a meat cleaver. It's basically a knife. It cuts through ropes or strings. Inmate got it around his neck. That's one policy that the agency I work for, they changed. Let's see what else we got. This is my duty belt too. I brought out, not my duty belt, I'm sorry. This is the belt that I wear on my pants. It's a Velcro belt. I don't know where you're going to be working at. You may have to go through metal detectors. So, when I'm going through the metal detectors at work, when I first come into work, I don't want to have to keep going back and forth, through the metal detector because I keep setting it off. So I try to make sure, my boots that I wear, my belt, nothing's going to set off the metal detector. Some people I see, they go through the metal detector and they got metal in their boots. They got to take their boots or shoes off. Some days it might be raining, the floor all wet. I don't want to get my socks wet, so I try to be mindful of that. That's something to keep in mind as well. Let's see. Oh yeah, where I work at, we got to wear stab-proof vests. That was a policy they made maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. So this is my stab-proof vest. It comes in a carrier. My carrier started getting old. I just started wearing it underneath my uniform shirt, man. So that's the policy they got. You either have to have it in a carrier or you could just wear it under your uniform shirt. So here recently, I started wearing my stab-proof vest under my uniform shirt. Like I said, man, it's different for every agency. And, this is the reason why I don't want you to buy nothing until you report. If you get hired, you get an offer and a start date, you report. You want to see what the policy, what the procedure is, because some of this stuff on here, before you go buy it, the agency you work for, they might already provide it for you. You know what I'm saying? When I worked at the county jail, they just provided us with uniforms. We didn't really have a duty belt. The county jail I worked at in West Virginia, I was at South Central Regional Jail up in Charleston, West Virginia for like 2 years before I went to my next agency I'm currently at. We just had, they gave us a clip for our walkie-talkie. What else did they give us, man? And it was we had a center core rover officer. They carry OC and handcuffs, and everybody else, we were just basically with a walkie. They may have upgraded the policy. They may require them now to carry handcuffs, OC spray. I'm not sure. I haven't worked there since 2013. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's go into my work bag. This is my book bag. It's a plain old book bag. Like I said, it's different for every agency. Some agency, somebody told me in one of my other videos I did, they said they can't even bring a book bag behind the gate. I said, wow, man, when I worked at the county jail, we had, like a locker room. You could put your food in the refrigerator. You couldn't bring no book bag behind. Where I'm at now, you could bring a book bag. It has to go through the metal detector. They got to scan and make sure obviously ain't no weapons, knives, anything you're not supposed to have, contraband, trying to keep down on that. But, my book bag, let's see. I keep a lot of snacks, a lot of food, a lot of water. Y'all know I'm big in the gym. I'm a husky dude. I work a lot of overtime shifts, so I got to make sure I got plenty food, apples and stuff. Let me see what else we got in here. I keep some glue sticks as well, man. I work night shift. I just came off a night shift recently, but I was on night shift for about 8 years. So, part of where I'm at working night shift, you got to get the mail overnight and you got to go through it, read it, and seal it up. So, I didn't want to be licking or, some people get a toothbrush and wet it. And, I feel like a glue stick works better. So, I keep glue sticks on me to seal the mail up. Oh, yeah. Invest in you a good flashlight, man. Even if they provide you with a flashlight, where I'm at, they provide us with flashlights on the units, but, things break, and they're not so fast sometimes to replace things. So some of the flashlights on some of the units where I work at, they don't work. So I went here and invested in the flashlight. You can go, all this stuff, you can go on Amazon. This is like a 2-pack I got maybe a few years ago. Pretty good light, let me see. It's pretty good. It gets light, And I think this is maybe a 2-pack was $15, $20. So it's fairly inexpensive. I got some of these too. This is like a timer, right? So when you work in certain units, maybe you work at night shift and you may be on a lockdown unit or you got an inmate on watch. You got to do hourly rounds, 30-minute rounds, depending on the agency. This is good to have right here, man. Invest in you a good timer, digital timer. You can put it on your desk. Set it for if you got to do every 30 minutes, every hour. It's good to have, man, so you don't miss your rounds. I got this off of Amazon. It's a 2-pack. I use the other one when I'm cooking. This was like a 2-pack of these was maybe $10. Man, it wasn't hardly nothing, man. But like I said, always ask before you just start buying stuff, man, because some of the stuff you may go out and buy, you may not even need. And if you work for a different agency right now and you transfer or you get on with another agency, the stuff that you carried at your former agency, you might not be allowed to carry there, man. So it's always good. That's why I say Wait till you report for duty, then you can ask whoever the instructor is, whoever is teaching the class, because they're going to try to familiarize you, with the facility. You can ask them, do y'all provide us with stuff? Or you can ask them in the hiring interview, or the back and forth with HR. Do y'all provide us with stuff? Do we have to buy our own equipment, our own duty belt? Like I said, it's different. Where I'm at now, they give us a yearly stipend, like on the anniversary date of your start date. They give us a yearly stipend of what? I think it's $800 for the year, to buy new uniforms, buy whatever equipment we need, to buy boots. Oh yeah, speaking of the boots, I remember a couple people asked me about what boots, can I give a boot recommendation? I talked about it a little bit last week or a couple weeks ago in another correctional officer video I did. Like I said in that video, everybody's feet, it's different, man. What works for me may not work for you. I prefer Nike boots, man. These are one of my favorite boots right here. Nike boots. I got them in 2 different colors. They're pretty comfortable. They're like running shoes, man. They're pretty light. This is my all-time favorite boot right here. This is pretty, I use these for my gym shoes now. I got to get a new pair. These are the Nike ACG boots, man. I was wearing these in college before I even started in corrections. It was like a fashion thing. A lot of people from the DMV, DC area put me on that. That was like their style. They wear Nike boots with their jeans, their outfits, polo and Nike boots, man. So I started wearing that before I even started working in corrections. Then I just kept buying them. I need to get me another pair. They don't sell these anymore, man. But this is my favorite Under Armour boot right here. I still got this pair. I think this is probably a few years old. I wear them from time to time. These are pretty light too, man. They feel like running shoes. I'm a former college athlete, so I like to try to stay light on my feet. I don't like big blocky boots. It's feel like your feet drag down, or they're not comfortable. I got to be comfortable, man. So like I said, man, that's what I wear on my feet. It's different for what I wear versus what you may want to wear. I'm just giving y'all a recommendation, of something that you can start, when it comes to what do you want to wear for your boots. You may be required to wear a certain type of boot. Your agency may not be, they may be not as lenient, or they may be more lenient as far as what you could wear, what you can't wear, So, test it out. Go in the Nike or the boot store, walk around, see how they feel, and go from there, man. Let me see if I'm missing anything. Let's see. Book bag. Like I said, I keep a lot of my toiletries in here. Let's see. Let's get in. Because, I work a lot of overtime, a lot of double shifts. So I always keep me some toothpaste, toothbrush. What else we got up in here? Gotta have that, man. Keep deodorant on me. Air freshener, man. Wherever I'm working at, the office, if I got some food and, I might got onions or something, I try to keep the office clean, man. That's one thing too, man. Always try to keep your working space clean, especially if you sharing the office with your coworkers. You got an officer relieving you, or you relieving somebody else. Don't leave the bathroom nasty. Don't leave the office a mess. You got stains all on the counter. You know what I'm saying? Try to have some decency, some home training. Let's see what else we got in here. I keep all the basic stuff, man. Lotion, because you're going to be there 16 hours. I got to be fresh, right? You feel me? I got to make sure my breath ain't kicking. I keep gum at all times on me. See if I'm missing anything else, man. That's pretty much it, man. My work bag is mostly just food, man. A lot of food. I keep my notes and stuff, man, in my book bag too for, I get a free moment or in between whatever I'm doing at work. I'll be working on the YouTube channel. I'm on the computer researching topics. You know what I'm saying? I got all kind of, this is all topics right here. I just ain't have time to write them back down. All these is future videos I'm going to do, man, on various topics. So I'm always working, even when I'm at work, So that's it in a nutshell, man. That's basically the gist and gets of it when it comes to the duty belt. It's different for everybody. You may have to have more stuff on yours or less stuff. I don't know. I'm just giving y'all a general idea. Y'all got any input, thoughts, comments on this video? Make sure you drop a comment. I'll be sure to get back with you as soon as I can. Y'all know how we coming. Let's get motivated.